Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be going through the new Anastasia Beverly Hills collection that she just launched. However, I don't actually have the collection. I know that sounds kind of weird, but as you could probably tell by the title of this video as well as the thumbnail, this is a dupe video. Over the last several years, so many new companies and so many brands have launched a bunch of different eyeshadow palettes, lip glosses, lipsticks, you name it, it's been launched. And I don't think that there is a single color out there that probably doesn't exist in some capacity. Of course, there's always a variation to a shade, but I feel like everything has kind of been done. And what people are trying to do right now, and by people I mean brands and companies, is actually put collections together and curate particular color themes. I feel like that's what the whole new Anastasia collection is. It's just two different color palettes. You've got the daytime palette and then the sunset palette, and both of them are beautiful in their own respects, but as a makeup lover myself, I immediately saw these and thought, ooh, I want to pick those up. But then I stopped myself and I looked through my entire makeup collection. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys got a sneak peek at what it looked like when I was trying to find dupes for all of these eyeshadow palettes. I have more palettes and more single eyeshadows than I will ever need in a lifetime. And so I figured rather than just continuing to add to that collection, I'm just going to begin looking for dupes. I did a very similar video when Anastasia launched the Soft Glam palette. I went through my entire collection and I found affordable dupes, and I felt like I should do the exact same thing this time around. Find some really affordable dupes so you don't have to spend your hard-earned money on a new collection, because you probably have those colors at home in some capacity. Now don't get me wrong, Anastasia is a beautiful brand and she has a wonderful eyeshadow formula. However, there are other eyeshadow formulas that exist that are just as good and sometimes better. I'm now going to jump into all of the dupes, beginning with the daytime palette. As you can see from the screen over here, the daytime palette is beautiful. It is perfect for almost every single day. It does kind of remind me of being on the beach during the day, sun tanning, drinking a pina colada. Well, actually I can't drink a pina colada. I'm allergic to coconut, but I can have a rum punch. It's a very beautiful color scheme when you're looking at it in the little quad that Anastasia has come out with. But I do have some great dupes here. For the first orangey color, and I'm just going to be looking down at my phone because that's where I've got the information. The first color that I notice is this beautiful, bright orange, and that one is called Papaya. It is described as a matte pastel orange, and I have a lot of eyeshadow and I dug through a lot of palettes and a lot of single pans, and I think the closest one that I've been able to find, at least in my collection, does come from ColourPop, and it's called Cannonball. I feel like this color is really similar to that of the Anastasia one, and I think it paired really well with the sandy beige that is in this palette, and that one is called, believe it or not, Sandcastle. And it is described as a matte sandy nude color. And when I looked through my collection, I found Frappe from Makeup Geek. It is a really nice sandy brown color. It's got lots of pigment to it, and it is so complementary to Cannonball from ColourPop. The next color that I want to dupe is that beautiful gold sunshiny color, and that one is called Sunny. God, I love these names. Sunny is described as a metallic sunset golden yellow, and I did look through my affordable collection and I found a few different dupes for this this one, and I couldn't quite settle on a single color, so I'm going to show you a couple of different swatches so you guys can see what I've come up with, and then you can pick your own of whichever one you think is going to be the best fit. The first color I have does come from Palladio, and it is called Solstice. This is one of their metallic crushed eyeshadows, so that's what it looks like. And from the swatches that I saw from Nikkia Joy's video, she did a review on the whole collection. I think this is probably the closest in color. She couldn't really get full opacity when she was doing swatches, at least that's what I found. The other gold that I thought was going to be a really great dupe is actually in this JCat palette right here. So this one is from their Extreme Access Pocket Shadow palettes, and this one is called Pops of Paparazzi, and the color that I think is the best match is this gold one right in here. And as you can see, it is a little deeper, but oh my goodness, does this color pop. And the last dupe for this gold color does come from another JCat Beauty palette. These are very affordable. JCat Beauty is a very affordable brand, and this is from their Beverly Hills 90210 palette. I did review these pro palettes in a separate video, and I'll link that for you down below. This here I think is a really great dupe for the gold color. And swatching that on the back of my hand, boom. There you go. If I had to pick out of these three dupes which one would be the best fit, I would probably mix the Palladio shadow with the Beverly Hills JCat shadow together, and I think that would actually create the perfect color combination to dupe the Anastasia shadow. And finally, the last color in this palette is called Rose Quartz, and it is described as a metallic pink with a gold shift to it. And I do have a lot of these very similar colors, and when I was actually putting everything together, this was the color that I was able to dupe the most. However, the closest color I was able to come to that was an exact match to the Anastasia one does actually come in this Maybelline City Mini palette. This is the Downtown Sunrise palette, and if we crack this open, this pinky rose gold color down here is the perfect dupe. And if I just go in there, grab a little bit of pigment and swatch that on my hand, you can see how beautiful and bright that is. It is a gorgeous metallic. It's got that gold shift, but it's really a nice metallic pink base. These are the colors that I think best dupe the daytime palette from Anastasia. Moving on to the Sunset palette. This is probably my favorite palette in the collection. I really love purple tones, so that's why I naturally gravitate towards this one, although you know I'm a sucker for a good gold color as well, so the other palette is just as beautiful, but this one clenches my heart just a little bit more. And the first color that I am gonna dupe is called Birkin. So it is a really nice mauvey matte color. It's actually described as a matte warm beige mauve color. Mauve? Mauve? I don't know, however you say it. After looking through my collection, I found that Dreamboat from ColourPop was the best dupe. After I swatched this color for the first time, I knew that was gonna be a deadpan dupe for Birkin in the Anastasia palette. It just looks great. The other matte color in the palette is called Horizon, and it is described as a matte gray plum. So for this one, I really looked at all of the purple tones that I had in my collection, but the purples that had more of a gray undertone to them. And the closest that I could really come up with for this dupe actually comes from Makeup Geek, and the eyeshadow is called Fairy Tale. It looks a lot lighter in the pan, but when you swatch it, it is quite a bit deeper. And from all the swatch comparisons that I could find, I thought this was probably the best match. So that's what it looks like swatched, and I think it is a really close match to what is included in the Anastasia palette. Now, I have actually put together all of the dupes that I'm talking about and created the sunset look on my eyes, and I feel like I basically achieved the same look that is in the Anastasia palette by using my own shadows. I actually felt very accomplished when I did that. The color that stood out to me the most in the sunset palette is called Blue Flash, and on the Anastasia website it is described to be a duochrome that has a blue and violet shift sparkle to it. And in my collection, the closest color I could find that replicated that particular color actually comes from Clionadh Cosmetics, which is a Canadian brand. It is a cosmetics line that I have been loving lately. I think their eyeshadows are spectacular, and they have a color called Filigree that I think is the perfect dupe. I've gone ahead and I've swatched it on the back of my hand over here so you guys can see what it looks like, and I think it is identical to the Anastasia color. Another dupe that I was able to find in my collection for Blue Shift is actually from ColourPop. It was the ColourPop Disney collaboration, and it's called A Whole New World. Now, I think this is more purple, but it does have that sparkle that is described on the Anastasia website, so that's why I thought I would include it. You can definitely see the differences between the two colors, and I think you can go either way. I prefer Filigree from Clionadh Cosmetics, at least as a dupe, but both colors are stunning. I don't think you can go wrong. And the last color in this palette is called Streak, and it is described as a metallic bronzy nude color. And I have two dupes for you. Both of them come from ColourPop. The first is in the Golden State of Mind palette. I'm not sure if they sell this anymore. If they do, pick it up. It's such a great metallic palette. This color right here, which is either called Tinker Time or Less Than Time, I'm not entirely sure, but this color down here is a really, really good match. So if I swatch it, and then I put it on the back of my hand here, I think that is a pretty decent dupe to the Anastasia color. The other color that could be a good dupe for Streak from the ABH palette does come from ColourPop again. It's called Deep Dive, and I've gone ahead and swatched it on the back of my hand, and you guys can see the differences between the two colors. So this one here has more of a burgundy undertone, whereas this one has more of a brown undertone. Maybe if you were to mix the two of them together, it would look a little more bronzy, but to be honest with you, I think the first color from the ColourPop palette, from this one over here, I think that is a much better dupe for this particular color. But I figure I would include the Super Shock shadow because that's probably a little more accessible than this palette over here. There you have it. Those are the dupes for the Sunset palette, and I think all of these colors go together so well. It is a great color combination, and again, I was able to create it using the existing eyeshadows that I have at home. I do just want to reiterate what I said at the very beginning of this video. You don't always have to run out and buy the latest and greatest collection, whether it's Anastasia, ColourPop, I don't know, Dose of Colors, whatever brands exist out there, Pat McGrath, Natasha Denona. I'm sure we all have our own makeup collections with tons of stuff in there that we can use, and we probably have very similar colors that already exist in our collection. So let's use those up before we start spending money on all of these new launches. And that's gonna do it for this video. I really hope you found it helpful. If you did, you know exactly what to do. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep up with me outside of YouTube, you can always do that by following me on all of my social media, and I will be sure to link everything for you in the description box below. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope you are all having an amazing day no matter where you are in the world. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.